17 years ago, it was unbelievable. And let me just get you clear on this, because what's going to happen here this weekend. 17 years ago, I took a little group, and you got to understand, we started the company on February 19th. That was the official date, okay? So February, the first couple of weeks, those things, we were just putting stuff together. But the first meeting was on February 19th, where I had the meeting with the baggie full of powder, okay? And in that next 2 weeks, we did $23,000 worth of business, okay? And we didn't have anything, okay, anything. All we had was the can of Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4, an energy tablet, and a brochure to tell you how to use the Formula 1, 2, 3, 4, and energy tablets. That was it, okay? And no testimonials at that time, nobody income at that time, nothing, okay? And we did $23,000 with that. So I'm the kind of person that you can't convince that, you know, hey, you know, it's a hard thing to do, $23,000. Okay, it's not a hard thing to do, $23,000 if you work. Okay, and we're going to talk all this week okay, about work. Okay, because a lot of people are mixed up on what the definition of work is. Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about what is work, okay? And trust me, I know how to work. And I'm going to teach you guys how to work like you've never worked in your entire life. Some of you may not want to work, okay, the way that we're going to talk about working. But we're going to teach you, okay, and take you through how to work, okay? And we came down, the second month there, we did $44,000 worth of business. And I got the idea at that meeting that, listen, why don't we put a goal on the entire company, okay? And what we'll do is we'll go down to Palm Springs and we'll get this incredible house. And what we'll do there is we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to get to be friends together, and we're going to cook together, we're going to drink together, we're going to get to know friendships, we're going to get to know each other's stories, and we're going to plan the company. Okay, and what we did is not only we planned a company, we talked about what products we were going to come out with. We talked about who was going to do the meetings for the next year. We talked about what was going to happen at the first extravaganza that was coming up at the first of the year. We talked about everything at that meeting, okay? And it happened for about 3 days. And it was so cool because what happened was we were talking to everybody all month long about doing $7,500 worth of business, and if anybody who got there, whoever got there, was going to become rich, okay? And you got to understand something. Nobody in the company had made. I was the highest guy, okay? I had made $1,200 my first month, and about $2,500 the second month. So while I was making $2,500, I was telling everybody that we were going to Palm Springs, and whoever got there and whoever got with me, that we were going to plan the company, and anybody that got there, we were going to get so rich, it was going to be unbelievable, okay, is what it was going to be. When I was only making $2,500, okay, and there was approximately 40 supervisors in the company at that time. So what happened was some of the group bid on the idea, okay? And I'll never forget that, because I was chasing everybody in my group. And all of a sudden, Jerry Jerry wanted to be in that meeting so bad, it was just unbelievable. And she started, nobody in the company, by the way, had done more than 4,000 volume points at that particular point in the company. And all of a sudden, by halftime in the month, Jerry was already at 4,000 points. Okay, and I was calling up Doug Stunts, and I said, Dougie, you're not going to believe it. You know, Jerry's going to make it to Palm Springs. You got to go, you got to go. And Doug said, oh, man, Jerry's going to make it? That school teacher? Oh, man. And he said, I got to go, I got to go, I got to go. And all of a sudden, Doug I mean, Doug was working like crazy. Flyers at night, going crazy, doing the 7-Eleven stores, talking to everybody he could. And I get Frank Lutz on the telephone, and I said, Frank, you're not even going to believe it. I said, Jerry Svetanovich and Doug Stuntz are going to Palm Springs. I said, Frank, I said, don't miss it on the program here. Get your mind right. I said, we're going to Palm Springs, and we're going to get rich. Okay, now, wake up, Frank. Okay, and Frank says, I'm going. And long story short, we had Frank Lutz at that deal. We had Jerry Svetanovich. We had Doug Stuntz, which all became multimillionaires. Okay, and we had Don Greneau. You've heard the story. Okay, and Don Greneau missed it. Okay, he missed out. Still got a chance to get back in, by the way. Okay, but he missed out. Okay, and there was Dallas Bordenov, who missed it, and there was Tim Greeny, who missed it. Okay, and so you guys don't want to miss what's going to be happening here this weekend. And we went to the supervisor school that week, and we talked about how we were all going to Palm Springs. It was great because we did our supervisor school, and we did just like the group here a minute ago, 7,500 points. I said, I want all my guys to stand up who did 7,500 volume, and I want you guys to recognize them. And the whole room went crazy. We had like 200 people. It was our biggest meeting ever. All the guests were there, and all my people stood up, and we walked out of the room, and it was just unbelievable, right? Everybody, now you got to understand something. We walked about 2 blocks down the street. You understand? Here's the meeting room. We said, we're all going to Palm Springs. Goodbye. Okay? And we said, you guys go, because we're going. And we went. And we went about 2 blocks down the street, and Doug got into his old gray primer-stained van, which was around the corner, because we didn't want anybody to see it, okay? And Jerry's old Toyota, okay? And everybody's old broke-down, ugly-looking, ridiculous car, okay? And we all drove down to Palm Springs, man, and we were so excited, it was unbelievable, okay? We were excited. And we finally get to Las Palmas, which is the richest part of Palm Springs, and down the road here, right? And we turn the corner, and everybody looks at the house. And it was unbelievable. You wouldn't believe this house, man. I mean, it was about 1,000 square feet, okay? 1,000 square feet, okay? So you guys know what, I don't know what that is in the meters and stuff like that. How many meters? 100? 100 square meters, okay? And there was 2 bedrooms in there. I got the master bedroom because I was the prez. And all the girls slept in the other bedroom. And all the guys took the sofa and the floor out in the room. And we tried to go there and film yesterday the house, okay? And unfortunately, it was so ugly, they burnt it down. They burnt it down, okay? So we can't, seriously, they burnt it down. So we can't show you the house that we were in. But this was us at the boardroom table, planning the thing out. And there we were. Look at that hairdo I got. Isn't that cool? So that was me at the end of the table. That was my girlfriend over there to the right, Catherine. She was the secretary making everything that I didn't want to do happen, okay? We're going to talk about that. You got to get someone to do everything that you don't want to do happen, okay? So that you can work, okay? Because we only get paid for selling the products and recruiting distributors and then teaching people how to sell the products and recruit distributors, okay? We don't get paid for doing the paperwork, okay? Could you imagine Mark Hughes doing some paperwork? Okay, I have never done any paperwork, ever. Okay, the minute I get someone signed up, do the paperwork. Here's how you do. Okay, and then that's how they do. And go do it. Okay, because I don't do any paperwork. Okay, everybody else has to do the paperwork. Everybody else has to set the meeting up. Okay, yes, everybody else. From the start, by the way, everybody else has to make my bed, okay? Everybody else has to mow the lawn. Everybody else has to do everything, okay? Because the only time you got time to do anything, if you're seriously interested in getting rich, is selling the products all day long and getting distributors all day long and teaching people how to sell all day long and getting distributors all day long. That's the only thing you get paid on. The only thing. And that is going to be a general theme through this entire weekend here. We're going to teach you guys how to work, and we're going to teach you how to get rich, okay? And while we were there, we were planning out all the products, like I said. We were planning out everything that was going to happen in the company. And it was great because we were talking there in that meeting about how we were going to go. I had my original notes with me, okay? And I had my notepad with me there. We're going to have it come up on the screen here in a second. And I had my original notes, and I told the group there that day, okay, how we were going to do $2 million worth of business the first year. $2 million. And I told them that the first year it was going to be rough. And it was rough, okay? It was seriously rough. Because the reason it was rough is we had no testimonials, and we had no income. This is my handwriting, okay? Don't do the second one yet. Come back, guys. I'm not done yet. Okay, come back to the first one. The first year was rough, and it was rough because of all the things that we had to go through to get it up to being where it was. The second year, we were going to build the credibility of the company, okay? This is my handwriting that you're seeing there. My handwriting was much better back then, by the way. And I projected $20 million for the second year. And then the third year was going to be called Panic. $100 million, that was when we were going to hit the jackpot. Everybody was going to become a multimillionaire, and everything that I talked about came true. We were a little late, okay? We were a little late because we did $10 million the first year, $2 million the first year. The second year at the $20 million, we got 10, okay? But 10 was plenty enough to get us to half of what the third year was, which was 58, okay? And the fourth year, we did more. We didn't hit the 100 million. We hit $142 million. Thing to do $23,000 if you work, okay? And we're going to talk all this week okay, about work, okay? Because a lot of people are mixed up on what the definition of work is. Okay? Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about what is work. Okay? And trust me, I know how to work. The first couple of weeks, those things we were just putting stuff together. But the first meeting was on February 19th, where I had the meeting with the baggie full of powder. Okay? And in that next 2 weeks, we did $23,000 worth of business. Okay? And we didn't have anything. Okay? Anything. All we had was the king. 17 years ago, it was unbelievable. And let me just get you clear on this, because what's going to happen here this weekend. 17 years ago, I took a little group, and you got to understand, we started the company on February 19th. That was the official date. Okay? So February, and a Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4, an energy tablet, and a brochure to tell you how to use the Formula 1, 2, 3, 4, and energy tablets. That was it, okay? And no testimonials at that time, nobody income at that time, nothing, okay? And we did $23,000 with that. So I'm a kind of person that you can't convince that, you know, hey, you know, it's a hard thing to do, $23,000. Okay, it's not a hard